some tables. I don't know why I've been thinking about throwback. Guess maybe somebody mentioned throwback this morning and I felt like it's throwback. Okay, so it is Cultural Wednesday, and yes, that is why I try my best to, I cannot be a Mokwe lady every day sometimes, but I try my best to, at least we present the Ankara. When we talk of Ankara, it refers to us, and that is our identity. That is what we understand as being African, even though it is now global. But when we talk of Ankara, we talk of African. And yes, this today is going to be an interesting day because we get to find out some youths who are making it big time and have decided to change the scenario, change the concept of just sitting back waiting for jobs. You could be that job creator, you could be that employer, you could be not just the employee, you could also be the employer. So why waiting to be an employee? Why don't you try as much as possible to be an employer? Yes, you could still be an employer. You're working for someone else, which means you're an employee and an employer. But then again, it depends on how the field that we look at. I was attending a seminar yesterday and somebody was like, one of the reasons why most entrepreneurs fail is because they always feel like they need money to start up something. Now you are thinking about the money part. What about the idea? Have you tried to see if that idea could fetch you money in future? Have you tried to see if that idea could pay for the interest if you take a loan? Have you tried to see if the idea can reach a thousand people or thousands of persons? Have you asked yourself that question? So no matter what the case may be, move it from the idea to a business idea and be a better entrepreneur. And yes, this morning it is called Cultural Wednesday, and trust me, we'll be perusing the corridors of asking some questions about culture. And yes, that is going to be on our topic of discussion, and we'll also be having lots and lots of other interesting aspects as far as the morning show is concerned. Right about now, we are going to package what we have already cooked up for you, just to make sure that you savor it and you have it with lots and lots of interesting moments. So this time around, we are going to take on a musical break, and when we come back, it's going to be a beginning of a new day.
Africa, Cameroon, Northwest region. The Nsong people have always been known for their unique culture, lifestyle, beautiful regalia, food, and hospitality. Messaging has always been lacking until this decade. With the rising of the chief's singing messenger, delivering every message with a song. She Lontum Yof.
kelanga uyibe she awumo a de before woni kermbana ben ko ya lango mana yuye di lango mana wonso di lango mana akin ko kelanga uyibe she afro de before woni kermbana oh gamoga sabe wanyo yo gamoga sabe Bomonga shingala de yare bomonga shingala de yare dotila ibenyana binyebe dotila so bomonga shingala de yare bomonga shingala de yare you want the body yewana akande body tarwane Molane, Molana, Molane, you want the boat to ye one. I can't get boat to Tarwane, Molane, Molana, Molane. Dimolo chala ke kaji waji mo jili di mo chombaire asujin ke chongre como sa chongre le suma ya o karite jinya wa ipajo pa yele na tama cha cha ula la sikembo ji yotanga sikembo benko yobo sikembo ji yotanga sikembo yirwano sikembo ji yotanga sikembo benko yobo sikembo ji yotanga sikembo ji yotanga sikembo ji yotanga lontumbo ni lantuma lontumbo ntumde yele lontumbo ni lantuma lontumbo ni lantuma lontumbo ntumde yele lontumbo ni lantuma lontumbo wayiyemo lontumbo ni lantuma lontumbo bontumde yele lontumbo bolantuma lontumbo ni lantuma lontumbo ntumde yele lontumbo ni lantuma bibano wonso bibano biyosoha bibano yemowe bibano biyosoha bibano biyosoha bibano wonso bibano biyosoha bibano biyosohe bibano nyamowe bibano biyosoha bibano biyosoha bibano wonso bibano biyosoha baby girl na wiwi oh agonyere you for la sawa shingo nshebo wonso wiraba agonyere you for la sawa agonyere you go jeremy agonyere you for la sawa if you jeremy agonyere you for la sawa one lengo na yimo jowuna agonyere you for la sawa oli na silen bon mo jowuna agonyere you for la sawa one lengo na yimo maiwuna agonyere you for la sawa mo maria yimo jowuna agonyere you for la sawa nini o nini kitukwacha wando kutukwakilo tukwango ilugo tukwadulaiga nini o omo nini o nini kitukwachuya kitukwacha wando kutukwadulaiga tukwakilo tukwango iluma kutukwadulaiga nini ya nini o
feet.
Welcome back to your favorite breakfast show. And yes, if you just tuned in, you are onto the breakfast show on high television Gbamu. And if you're seeing this face, it's Rita Mafani Mojoko. Yes, it is another morning for us to kickstart your day with lots and lots of fun. And this time around, dearest beautiful people, before I move over to our topic of discussion, I know it's Cultural Wednesday, right? So we will be, talking about some funny aspects of culture. But before we talk about the funny aspects of certain cultures, it's really a fun thing to know that our cultures are unique. And now when we talk about culture, we don't just talk about language, food. We also talk about dance. There are so many other things concerning culture, and dressing most especially, it's one of our biggest identities. It's one of the biggest identities when we talk about culture. So definitely when we talk about culture, it's important for us to know that we need to carry on with it, and we need to have the identity to represent wherever you are. So quick story from my end. I was in a taxi yesterday, and this friend of mine saw a colleague, and they quickly spoke in their dialect. So that kind of thing, like probably they have not seen themselves for some time, and they quickly just responded. The other person greeted, and the other one responded in the dialect, and somebody in the taxi was like, "You're talking, why are you speaking your dialect? Do you want to sell us?" And I was like, "Geez, this is our identity. I mean, we borrow English language, whether we like it or not. This is our identity." So if the person, I literally just feel comfortable if I hear somebody speaking their dialect, I already know that okay, there is that sense of maintaining the culture, which is the aspect of language. And if somebody appears somewhere dressed in their cultural attire, I already know that okay, this person is representing their culture. So in one way or the other, we ought to represent our culture in different ways. And talking about culture this morning, there are so many things we could talk about culture, but do you know it is a culture for persons? It is. Do you know it's a somebody is like asking, okay, what does Rita want to say? I won't let the cat out of the bag. Okay, so we move over to the next, and this time around we are talking about lines. Now you find a lot of, I don't know if you also witness this thing where drivers quarrel, and you hear this man wants to overtake me, blah blah blah. So I was just passing by, and then I saw this thing about lines on the road, and there are different meanings. Trust me, those lines are not just there for they are not just there for decoration. They are there for a particular reason, and they are there because they are there to direct this person's using the road. But I feel like it's difficult for them to actually use these lines and know that okay, this one is meant for this one. For example, broken lines means you could overtake. Yes, broken lines means you could overtake. No, nobody should ask me for started driving classes, but maybe at least just learn the driving before the car comes. Even if the car comes in 2035 or 2050, at least you have learned something. So broken lines means you can overtake. The lines by the center of the road means you can overtake. And we go now to the straight line, the one that you have, it's like chalk, it's like a ruler that has been used to draw the line at the center of the road. So that particular one means it means do not overtake. It means you shouldn't overtake. But if you see the way drivers quarrel on the road, even on the highway, you ask yourself, did they actually just learn how to hold the steering, or did they actually learn this? Like, or maybe they did, and then as life goes on, they tend to forget, and they concentrated on just using the road and making money. Okay, then double lines. Now you have one by the side and then the other one. Double lines. So now there's one line and then there's the double line. Now the double line simply means that do not overtake under any circumstances, whether you're in haste, whether whatever the case may be. Do not overtake. I think there are a set of persons we need to tell them this, because they overtake everywhere. We know them in Buea precisely. The other day I was fetching water and my neighbor, I didn't see them coming, and that's the time I was in one house like that, Buea and water crisis. So I didn't see them coming and I had to cross the road. Jeez, when I got to the center of the road, I shouted Jesus until one of them even laughed, and then they stopped. We know them now. In this Buea, when you see them coming, you don't even just cross the road, you just stand you by the side, let them come and pass. Even if they are one, even if it's just one of them, or if there are 15 of them, just allow them to take the road. Okay, so if you didn't gather anything this morning, just know that broken lines on the highway means you can overtake, and the straight line means you should not overtake, at least. And then when the line is double, do not overtake on any circumstances. And don't ask me if I started driving classes. Maybe, like I said, it's better to know the driving so that the car can come. Maybe it's 2050, then by that time at least you know the driving, so when the car comes you can just drive. Okay, so that was it for our Did You Know this morning. I hope you gathered something. And talking about culture, we are about unleashing our topic of discussion. And yesterday when I was thinking about what we could talk about today, I asked myself, okay, beliefs, what are we going to talk about? We have been talking about dressing, and we all know our dressing. And if you are watching us this morning, you can tell us where you're watching us. Just greet us in your dialects. Just send a message and greet us in your dialects. Please, we do not take calls. You can send us just a WhatsApp message or an SMS. Yes, and you have the number there on your screen. To do well, make good use of it. And yes, the number you find on your screen is the number of the studio, is the number of the studio. So please, if you are going to write the number, know it's the number of the studio and not someone advertising something with us. If you want to advertise something with us, you can always get to us, but you can get to us by in our office. Our office is located at Malingo precisely. I don't want to call any school. In fact, the best space I can describe, like I can help you get the location, is Jehovah Witness. Yes, opposite Jehovah Witness. So that is it. And this time around we are talking about our topic of discussion this morning. And yes, talking about our topic of discussion this morning, we have something very interesting. And like I told you, we're talking about beliefs. Yes, African beliefs. Last time I think we were talking about meal, and some persons were telling me how exciting their traditional meal is and all whatnot. And this time around we're talking about beliefs. So the question goes, what are some of the African beliefs no longer practiced? What are some of the African beliefs no longer practiced? For example, beliefs is just something that has been accepted. I know for one that for example, even though it's like far back, if you're about to get married, let's say your elder sister has not gotten married and you, the junior one, is about to get married, what happens is they automatically delay you, or probably they'll tell, so worst case scenarios, the father even proposes that the man who is coming to marry the younger sister should marry the elder sister instead. Yeah, it's far back, but that was what used to happen. And then there was this other one. Anyways, when we come back, we're going to talk a lot more about it. But what do you think are some of those African beliefs that are no longer practiced and that you find comfortable? We know of slave trade, right? It all, like, they brought it to us, but some of us, even the Africans, were practicing it. Yes, it's true, it was given to us, or it was introduced to us, but some were still practicing, and there are so many others. But what is that one that it's no longer practiced and you feel so excited about the fact that it has been abandoned or it's no longer there? And this time around we are going to do some workouts. The weather is not cold this morning, but it's good. Physical exercise is good for your health in several ways, so it's good that you take on physical exercise in the morning. Remove the dead the sweat and everything, that is waste. Remove the waste products from your system by doing some workout. So we're going to do some workout this morning, and when we come back, we talk our topic of discussion.
Coach Tako Williams. I hail from Southwest Region, Mani Division to be precise, in Changtown to be more precise. I've been into fitness coaching for over 2 decades today, but particularly here in Buea, as a division, I've been here for close to 20 years now. Actually, I started here 2004. So 2024 is going to make me 20 years actively and on daily basis. So far, I can't count. I've impacted a handful of lives. I can't count the number of persons, the number of adherents who have passed through me, and I should say about 50% of the fitness coaches here in Southwest today have passed through me. I'm happy to do what I'm doing. I'm happy to do. I love doing what I'm doing best. I'm happy I'm impacting life. I've met persons who, from the one where they came with health challenges, and with the aid of physical fitness, counseling on healthy lifestyle. To be more precise, regular workouts and dietary control. A handful of them have gotten through the health dilemma, health challenges they were going through without the use of drugs. Like I always advise them by the public, fitness is more than just being well. Fitness is more than not being sick. There's the ability to do normal daily routine activities with vigor and alertness. Moreover, with surplus energy left for unforeseen emergencies, recreation, and why not leisure.
In fact, I came here with a blood sugar challenge. When I came here, I had a blood sugar challenge. My blood sugar was high. That's why I started doing sport. When I reached there, I met my coach. I told him that I have a blood sugar challenge. When we were doing exercise, he saw the way I was very, very weak. So after 2 weeks, he asked me to go to the hospital and check. When I went there, it was finally diabetes. So I was highly diabetes. So I came back and I was speaking with him. He gave me some many advices, and he just asked me one thing: to be consistent in everything I'm doing. So I was very serious with my diet, with my sport on daily basis. So after something like 5 months maximum, I succeeded to reverse it. Until now, I'm okay.
to the best of my knowledge, sports for all. Different people come for sports with different motives, with different reasons. There are some doing sport just for fitness, to be alert. It varies. Recommendation as per dieting and dosage for workout. It varies. With one, your body mass index. We do not have the same body mass index. We do not have the same health background. We are not the same ages. We are not the same gender. All these aspects are taken to cognizance. But for a start, we begin by getting grounded to know your health parameters. More precisely, your BP, your blood sugar, electrolytes, and the cholesterol type. This will place us on the guard to know what you are capable of doing, what are your limitations, and the extent to which I can give a push behind you. You get it? I will blend or advise on dieting, but dieting, as I would say, dieting goes one-on-one. It's per individual. There's no diet program that goes as a team. Mindful of the fact that dieting reference value, DRV, for a toddler, you don't say DRV for an aging person. Dieting reference value for a convalescent, you don't say dieting reference value for a lactating mother. Dieting reference value for a white-collar jobber, you don't say dieting reference value for an active sporter, an athlete, or a manual worker. It varies with individual, right? Yeah, the dietary advice goes now on as per purpose. Somebody with an athletic body type, or somebody whose BMI is normal healthy. It's not to be honest, dietary reference value. Somebody whose BMI is overweight. Somebody whose BMI is slightly overweight. You know, it's the same on the same dietary reference value or dietary reference counseling with somebody whose dietary reference value whose BMI is obese. So it varies now with individuals.
Madam Mamwa Nto, I started training with Coach 1 year, 7 months ago. It's been an awesome experience because along the way, I had a stroke. I've been hypertensive for more than 8 years, and since I started this exercise, I really feel my body light, and my BP has not really been a problem. I had a mild stroke around June, but you can see me now, I'm very active. My left side was not active, but when I went to the hospital, the question they asked me was if I was doing some exercise. So exercising your body, not more than what you can do, but exercise is very important to health.
That sport is a very important therapy that you cannot find from any pharmacy, as some doctors and nutritionists say. In fact, I've been doing sport since right at school. When I was in the post doing my engineering course, we were doing sport. It was one of the courses of continuous assessment that over 20. So we did that, and I even had very good marks, about 18, to make up the whole course. And when I came back to Buea, where I worked with CRTV, I relaxed a bit. I was not doing sport. When I came back, I was looking very fresh, and I was even surprised about myself. I was looking even younger when I came back from school. That it has been very, very, very interesting. And health-wise, I am feeling very better. I'm looking stronger and smarter than before. And the sicknesses I used to have before now, I've gradually dying away. I'm not more even having. I used to take tablets, used to take all those, and sometimes my knees were having problems. Now I don't have all those type of problems. I'm having it better, and sport is becoming part of my hobbies. And when I stay without coming in here from 6:30 every week, from Mondays to Friday, I even feel bad. So I can say that sport is something that we should emulate and we should continue to do.
It's very true. You are asking a very good question. The problem is that when you stop sport, to resume is very difficult. Now, if you, that's why I was saying that you should be doing sport with a professional, because when you are doing sport with a professional, if you are not in sport, the professional will try to look to attend to you, to know what is happening. Maybe many people stop their sport program maybe because they own challenge, change. So they just need some advices, somebody who will tell them that yes, even if your things, your program has changed, you should be look for a time to keep doing sport, because our body is a must. We are obliged to be exercising, and exercising till you are sweating. So I think that the only thing I can do is that we should go the professional. If that person was working with a professional, the professional will surely try to attend to it, to know what happened, and to advise him to find time so that he will be able to balance his own activity and his sport activity. I think that's all.
Thank you, sir. As per that, there are a lot of people who still believe sports is an extra or non-essential. They wait only for a medical recommendation before they go out for sports. They should make sports part of a healthy lifestyle, right? Without, you are capable of taking care of health, at least 85% of your health challenges without the use of drugs. Most of those drugs have their side effects, their long side effects on the liver and the kidneys. You need a bit of sacrifice. I shall count way back 2004 when I started. I'll barely count the number of Anglophones who will turn out. Majority of the population should be the Francophones who come on Sundays. They say I'm going to Saturday. But with consistency, I've been consistent in it. And because of me, one or two persons have picked interest to go into and become the coaches, which I'm happy and proud of, right? Make sports part of a healthy lifestyle. There are lots and lots of health challenges that you solve just a healthy lifestyle without the use of drugs. It keep you strong, it keep you smart, it keep you healthy, it keep you on alert. Are we there? Are we there? Yeah.
Welcome back, and yes, that was a lot of sweat there. Don't ask me where I did mine, but I just changed. I just changed right now from my sports attire back to this one, so my body is actually heat up right now because I was following up. Yeah, I was. I hope you did same. It's very important for us to do at least the smallest physical exercise in the morning. Is very important because you get to remove sweats from your body, you get to remove the waste, you get to remove stress, you get to work your muscles, you get to charge your system. Your system needs to be charged up in the morning. Imagine you waking up from sleep and even before to take, you even need to take time before your eyes clear out and all of that, and you're ready off to work, you're ready this. Even though some people's work is already enough sports. Yes, some people's jobs are already enough sports because they have to sweat it out, especially for guys. But if that's not the case, at least try as much as possible to take even it's a 10 minutes workout in the morning. It's important, and it's going to help you, work your muscles. It's going to help you charge up your system. It's going to help remove that waste from your system, just a little, no matter how small it might be. And for the ladies, squats are good in the morning. You want to squat so you're active in the morning, and it's also good for your hips. It's also good for your system as a whole, and even for your stomach. The squats also help. We're complaining, ladies, when we want to take your pictures, that's where we try suck it in. Tell your friends, say suck it. When you're ready to take the picture, tell me who has seen that trending meme online where there is this short lady, and then she has to take a picture, and then she's like, the stomach is out, and she's like, when you want to take the picture, tell me. And then later on, the stomach is out. Maybe if we do some workout, we'll free ourselves from that. And yes, we're moving over to our topic of discussion this morning, which is what African beliefs. What are some of the African beliefs that are no longer practiced? And to me, I would say African traditions, if we want to put it like that. And some of them, which there are some which are good, they are no longer practiced, and they are of good impact, and there are some which they are of bad impact. And I think the one I've noticed recently is the aspect of youth respecting elders. I think that's the one I've witnessed recently. Sometimes when stuff happens and you're like, I see a child, your mother is talking to you and you're responding in a very barbaric manner, and I'm like, oh geez, where did you grow up? Like, how did this generation, how did we get here? But then again, that's the situation we find ourselves in. And back in the days when an elder comes, that even though they still do it now, but it's like we need to be reminded of these things. When you see an elderly person, you know that, okay, I have to get up from the seat, I have to get up from where I'm sitting so this elderly person sits. But some people will be like, no, I came here first, so I deserve the seat and I deserve the position. So that is it. But what if those practices, they made us, they didn't just give us that communal environment, they made us born with these people. You see an elderly person struggling out there with something, you go on, help them. If you see an elderly man is trying to cross the road, you hold his hand, help. That's why we are Africans, and that is why we are there to protect the elderly ones. Because like sometimes they will say when they give birth to children, that these children will then come and take care of you later on. That's what they know, that these children will come and take care of you later on. But you find some parents alone, like they are on their own. Yes, we know the children grow up, they go to school, graduate, they later get married, start having their own family, and they have to take care of their own family. But what of that your father? What of that your mother? She also needs that care, she also needs that that love. So tell us, what is your own, what do you think are some of the African traditions no longer practiced, or African beliefs? And yes, this time around I am waiting for your contribution. You can text us via the number on your screen, or you can send us a normal SMS. Yes, if you can't afford data, you can afford 20 pounds text message, or it's 50 pounds. Okay, so this time around we are about going to take on a musical break, and when we come back, we talk something else.
DJ Cliff exclusive, sir.
Tena muzika na shukuru asili kutoka Bicha mpaka Nicha, ndani ya Dar es Salaam tunatengeneza fine muziki. Africa is waiting beyond the Faro Horizon. Come to Gambia, nyumbani ya Suna Tabate. Feeling hard. Umbomzoloba, ufokenjea, it is the people. Freedom from slavery is what I want for you. Freedom from misery. Freedom from poverty. Yombanya dango tena mafuka. Nalingio minge. Na bezio Messi. Kitoko ya Afrika. Shukuru sana. Wewe siya bonga. Akakaramba. Nalingio yo 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 yo. Na bezio Messi. Saya kitoko ya Afrika. Mama wewe siya bonga. Akakaramba. Now ndani ndani ya Afrika na ndani. Now ndani ndani ya Afrika na ndani. Now ndani ndani ya Afrika na ndani. Now ndani wake. Down heart of Africa cannot be measured. From Baccarat to nowadays, ni Faraday, ni Fahrenheit. They think that we're broken, but we're unshakable like Kilimanjaro. The truth must be spoken, take care of it. We spread love in Zanzibar. Nalingio minge, na bezio Messi. Kitoko ya Afrika, shukuru sana. Wewe siya bonga, akakaramba. Now ndani ndani ya Afrika na ndani. Now ndani ndani ya Afrika na ndani. Now ndani ndani ya Afrika na ndani. Now ndani wake. Ndani ndani.
Welcome back, and yes, we are still streaming live. You can watch the program live on our YouTube channel, and that is Hi TV Cameroon. So you can go to YouTube and just type Hi TV Cameroon and subscribe. Yes, subscribe to the channel. And this is it. If you subscribe to the channel, immediately we start streaming, you get the notification. So you don't need to go on typing or go on searching. So long as you have your data on, you just need to subscribe. And when you subscribe, you get notification as per we load. Notification appears on your phone, and then you can follow the program. So you're reminded. It's like a reminder that this is going on, and you can do well to follow us. And you can also follow more other interesting programs that we have here at Hi Television. And right about now, we are continuing our topic of discussion. We have to continue talking our topic of discussion this morning, and which our topic of discussion says, what are some of the African beliefs that are no longer practiced? We're talking about safe shade here. I know it was brought to us, but yes, even it was brought to us, some of us started practicing it. Yes, some people gave back in the days, if you borrow money and you couldn't pay it, you were taken as a slave. If you maybe somebody's, and it went far back as we have seen it even in the movies, where maybe your father borrowed money from someone, and if your father couldn't pay for that money, you were used as a collateral for the money. So what happens is you have to marry the person, whether the person has 97 years or the person is as old as your great grandfather. You have to marry the person because that was the decision, or that was the agreement between your father and that said person. I don't know if it's still happening, but these are some of the barbaric, I'll call it barbaric, African traditions that were practiced back then. And we also have the issue of sisters getting married, where if the other one is not yet married, the older one is not yet married, they automatically start encouraging the young man who has come to marry the younger one to get married to the older one. Some of these things, even though we see it in the movies, they were happening right under our noses. But one thing that I would love to say about African traditions is that the ones that were bringing good are almost forgotten, and the ones that are beginning to change us is what is happening now, and is what we are thinking of. But that is not for us to decide this morning. We are going to talk about some youths. Yes, we're going to talk about a youth who is making it out there big time. She has decided to carve a niche for herself and keep herself busy by using Ankara material to do some magic. I will call it magic because you need to see the transformation. And just so you know, she's training other young youths out there. We are talking about Lambo Fashionista. Let's get to find out how she transforms Chinese made bags to African bags and maintaining the African culture.
We are proud of who we are. Good morning, televiewers. You're welcome to another edition on your cultural slot on your favorite breakfast show, Elela Gbamu, with me, Martha Namundo Ikome. This morning time, we'll be looking at the northwest region of Cameroon. We'll be perusing through some tribes in the northwest region of Cameroon. Spectacularly, I'm talking about the Mezam division, and I'll be greeting all the Babanki people. Tuline led to all of you wherever you are. Tuline led to all the Babanki people, and of course, I'll be greeting the Bamenti people for Wamelo to you all, where we will be meeting Lam, and she'll be doing some transformative creation. Let's go.
Well, I'm Timbon Pusilianjo from Mezam Division. However, I'm popular known as Lambo Fashionista because of my brand. So Lambo Fashionista is my brand name. Well, there is a saying that choose what defines you, or choose what makes you a distinction from other regular activities. So I have a brand I'm building, and I feel like if I should make this brand unique and different from every other brand out there, I need to give it a distinct name that is not regular from every other regular brand out there. So I choose the name Lambo Fashionista, which is a short form from the luxurious car we call Lamborghini. So we all know Lamborghini is a very expensive car, luxurious and beautiful. So I believe I'm building a very luxurious brand, unique brand that is going to promote African culture and Cameroon culture as a whole. So I took Lambo for short from Lamborghini to make it as a distinction. So I named my brand Lambo Fashionista. Growing up as a young girl, I've always had this love and admiration for the African culture. So I always dream on how I feel like I could promote this, because I feel like the African culture have been neglected. We've been neglecting it, then dwelling on the Chinese culture. For instance, the Chinese produces their Dior's bags, the Fendi bags, the Hermes bags, and youth of Cameroon and youth of Africa, we tend to admire these brands, which is the Chinese brands, and dwell in it, forgetting that that's their own culture they are promoting. Now, why can't we promote our own? So I feel like since the Ankara fabric represent the African culture, the African heritage, the beauty of African in miniature, I feel like I could promote it by using these same fabrics to do the same things that the Chinese does, so that creating shoes, bags, earrings, to make it a distinction from what the Chinese produce. So we could also use this method to promote our culture, so as to tell the world that in as much as Chinese produces this amazing product, Ankara can also do the same thing. So I tend to use this brand to promote culture by using the Ankara fabric as a medium of promoting the African culture and Cameroon culture most especially. Well, I made mention of the fact that if you look around today, for instance, this was a Chinese made bag. For instance, the Chinese leather and everything. And I'm going to show you a sample of an already transformed bag to the Ankara fabric. I know for sure the Ankara looks beautiful than the Chinese produce. And I know for sure that recently, or let me say in the 21st century, youth of the youth have thereby dwelt in this made Chinese made fabrics unlike this one. So I believe that unlike the Chinese, if they are capable of doing this, we Africans can also do this. Like, I feel like we could also challenge their skills, we could challenge their talents, challenge their whatever they are doing, and do it better, so as to promote this culture. Like, if you look at this fabric, it carries the African map, for instance. So this is how I intend to promote this culture. If I'm working with this on at the roadside, somebody can also just recognize it. Someone can recognize this by just seeing the African map. I'm like, oh, that's an African fabric, this is a cultural fabric, it looks artistic, it is nice. But if I should, in case I was working with this Chinese made bag, it doesn't pass out any information to the public. It's just like any other regular bag out there. So this is how I intend to make a distinction in the world from the Chinese made product with the Ankara made product. Yes, a lot of critics. I've had critics. I have critics every day, but I believe in myself, and I believe in what I'm going to do, and I believe in what the journey I'm trekking on, the journey I'm working on. I believe that everything starts from the scratch. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. So I'm beginning from the scratch, thereby creating awareness, and I believe with time they are going to dwell in it, they are going to love it, and they are going to promote it. I believe the Fendis, the regular brands out there, the Fendis, the Diors, they were somehow neglected back then. But lately, people now love it, and they feel like it is the most trending brands out there. So someday, the Ankara is also going to be the most trending brand out there, that even the Chinese will want to copy from it. So that is what I believe. First of all, what motivates me is the beauty of my brand. I would say how unique it is. If I should dress, if I'm going for, let me say, if I'm going out to a party, I believe what I'm wearing or what every other person is going to wear is really going to be different. Imagine me coming in with an African made design from head to toe. Like, for instance, I have my bangles, I have my earrings. If I should pick out a lady from the street, I'm sure what she has is not what I have. So this is what gives me my motivation. I believe that even if the person is not wearing what I want, but he or she might admire what I wear. So I believe that in time to come, I'm going to, after creating sensitization, I'm going to win the minds and hearts of every individual. So what gives me the motivation is my determination, my consistency, and I tend to put in a lot of hard work because I believe so much in what I do. Sadly, no. I would say I started this brand all alone. It was a decision I made to myself. I've been the one doing this all alone, no support from no one. Although lately my family tend to support me because they have seen how gradually I'm growing in it, so they tend to give me some financial support sometimes. But aside my family, I would say that I'm the only one in this. But then again, I'm getting exposed to the public gradually, and I get to meet personalities who admire what I do. For instance, the League of Arts and Culture and other great personalities. So they are the ones who give me support and the encouragement that I need to grow. Well, I started this from 2020 to 2023, so approximately almost 3 years now. Okay, what I will give young girls, especially youth my age nowadays, I'm not trying to criticize Cameroon, but let's look around. In a donor economy such as Cameroon, there are no jobs, and there is a saying that no rich man made it through salary. All of us went to school, all of us are graduates. But I believe that statistics have shown that 95% of people out there, the rich people, are made it through business. So I believe gaining skills or skills gaining is one of the most lucrative means of survival out there today. So I'll advise every youth, if not this ground, but gain a skill. Getting a skill, especially for a young girl, is the best gift any woman can give herself, like self-empowerment. That's the best gift any young lady can give to herself out there. And should in case you just go to school and you become a graduate working under somebody, I bet you that is not a self-empowerment. You're just working under a salary. But should in case you have a business you're running, a brand you're building on your own, having your own name on your own, that's the best gift you can ever give yourself. And looking at society today, I believe that a time will come when men will want women who are empowered. Men will stop going in for wife materials, who will just come to the house and be so reliant, so they just depend on their husband. A time will come when men will want to also bring women to the house, who believe that if they are down sometime in business, their wives could also be a source of income and support to them, and not just being a housewife. So I urge every youth out there, especially women, to go out there and gain a skill, especially in an economy such as Cameroon, where there are no or little jobs opportunity. So I'm encouraging every youth to gain a skill out there, if not this one but any other one. But I'll advise that you come for this one because it's the best brand ever. First of all, the purpose of my brand is, I would say that I have a vision and I have a mission. And the mission of my brand is for self-empowerment and poverty elevation. And most of the times I train young girls not with the purpose of gaining financial, to gain finances from them, because actually I teach this skill for just 15,000 francs. And I bet you in Cameroon Skills Academy, where I'm a brand ambassador, you pay 150,000 francs. There their purpose is to make money, to train youth. But for me, I'm training this just to empower young girls. I feel like actually I'm being empowered, so I feel like I should also empower the youth out there. So I could say that I trained for this business has been located to me because I feel like I should also empower the youth out there, the youth of Cameroon. Looking at the most, let me say, for in Cameroon, going to some rural areas such as Tole, girls after schools, they get pregnant, get married at an early age. After graduation from the university, there are little or no jobs. You tend to see youth roaming the street doing absolutely nothing. So I'm using this medium or this brand as a medium to empower young girls, to empower youth of Cameroon out there. So I would say that my vision is to empower youth and my mission is to elevate poverty. So my brand is not to make money, my brand is for self-empowerment. Okay. I train IDPs, I train under organization, I train the less privileges for little or no money. So that's a medium of empowering them. It's an hour's work. Now, this is not taking me back now to teaching what I want to do. Okay, first of all, I said this is a Chinese made product. This is somebody's initiative. This is a Chinese made product. This is somebody's initiative. So if I'm designing this bag or if I'm transforming this bag, I have to scatter this person's initiative to the scratch. So to scatter it, design it, and start manufacturing it as the initial manufacturer of the bag is going to take me a longer period of time. So approximately it's an hour's job. I have to work for hours and hours to get it done. Now, sooner or later, I have a dream. I want to open a skills academy with the name Lambo Skills Academy, purposely to empower young girls. So I want to open a skills academy where I'll train youth who feel like they don't want to go to school, or after graduation there are no jobs. I'm going to open an academy where we train different trades, not just the Ankara. We could also do beating, we could also do marking, we could also do cooking. So I intend to open an academy. For instance, I attend different fashion festivals. For instance, I've attended Upward, I've attended the TikTok events camp, I've attended the cultural arts of Cameroon, I've attended the universe, I've attended many cultural events who tend to promote culture, which is about culture, who promote artwork. So I always go there to showcase my brand and what I do. However, I also design for traditional weddings because I feel like, let me use this example. if you watch the Nigerians how they dress in their traditional wedding, they wear canopies. That is a Nigerian culture. Now a Cameroonian will want to do a traditional wedding. She's from Northwest. She is wearing canopy. That's somebody else's culture you are showcasing and not yours. So instead of wearing canopy with the Galans fabric, I'll prefer you wear the Northwest fabric. So this is how I tend to promote it in different cultural diversities. Yes.
Isn't that amazing? Transforming Chinese made bags to Ankara beautiful designs. And yes, you can use them for your weddings, you could use them for, a cultural event. You could go for that cultural festival with the slippers, the bangles, the earrings. I love the earrings. They are so unique and so particular. I mean, you look different, you look set aside from every other person. And yes, this time around we are about talking what the newspapers are telling us this morning, and we have the amazing Larry Etengeneng in the building. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning to you, Rita Mafani Mujoko. Good morning to all our viewers. Good morning to everyone.
How are you doing this morning?
It's a wonderful morning and we thank God.
Okay, so what are the newspapers telling us?
The newspapers of today are still coming back to the Manfred carnage of Monday, the 6th of November 2023. Some of them have diverse points of view. According to La Nouvelle Expression, she terms that as a hypocrisy of condemnation, and others see that as a carnage in Manfred, while some other papers are coming to some corruptible ministers or ministries in the country as a caption, the 12 apostles of corruption in the new government. So those are some of the things we'll be finding out.
All right, I can't wait to have all.
Hello there, viewers of High Television. You all are welcome to the paper review segment on Gbamu. Right up, we start with the first paper for today, The Dawn. The Dawn for this morning have as lead story, it says carnage in Manfi. More than 20 died in barbaric attack. That is what you can find on The Dawn for this morning. And that sets The Dawn newspaper. The paper talks of Manfi massacre, a stain on our humanity. We'll move over to CPDM celebrations. It sees how CPDM celebrated across the country. You can find that stories and more on the pages of The Dawn newspaper for this morning. The Voice newspaper of Randy Josa for this day says the horror of Egbeko Manfi. You can find more on that said paper as it says assault leaves more 30 plus victims, houses burn, I beg your pardon, and others. You can find more on the pages of the Voice newspaper for today. We'll move over to Tonja Mbengwi. Says who is this Minister Atanganji's others. You can find that story on that said paper. Just ended Libe International Tourism Fair. The paper reports Minister of State Bello Buba Maigari implores citizens to patronize made in Cameroon. We'll move over to talk something else on the next publication for this day. That is the Median. The Median of Stephen Ojong says 41st anniversary of Half Mass. It talks on Manu celebrates beer in fire, blood and tears. So move over to Dry Taps, huge water bills. Buea Mayor looks away from Cam Water. Exclusive interview. New professional cards will grant lawyers digital access to bar services and lots more. That is what Barrister Anyonda Ngo talks on, who is the secretary of the Cameroon Bar Association, talks on the Median newspaper for this morning. Move away from the Median to municipal updates. Municipal updates of Victor Cham for this day says Manfi massacre. Bishop condoles victims as death toll rises. That is how Victor is saying the Manfi incident. Or take you to those other stories. 700,000 700 Chilean students studying in Cameroonian universities. That is what the Ministry of Higher Education says on that said publication. U.S. Embassy launches Academic for Women Entrepreneur Program. Move away from municipal updates. This time around we take you to this paper Horizon Plus magazine. It says Far North Yoba Abdullahi in in an open war with the councillors in that municipality of the Far North region. Loju for this day talks on Louis Mashimwabo, that is the Director General of the Director General of La Francophonie, who says the organization is not in war with other international languages. That is what you can find on Loju for today. Rigobert's song comes out with his list for the qualifiers of the World Cup. As he says, this time around there won't be any room for errors. We stay in the light of the Indomitable Lions, where Rigobert's song says there won't be any room for error, as he summoned a list of players of 24 without Choupo-Moting. You can find more on the pages of that said paper for today. Lloyd Sahel for this day says memorially lane. It says the last big discussion of Madu Ahijo, who happens to be Cameroon's first president. There he will take you to Yaoundé. He says the way of living of internally displaced persons in Yaoundé as a result of the Boko Haram insurgency in the Far North region. L'Independent for this day talks of corruption. He says the abstraction of the task force. Get to read that story on that set paper. The declaration of Ayos when it comes to the 41st anniversary of President Paul Biya Supreme Magistracy. Get to read it on that set publication. Conjuncture Economy for today talks of the new government at 41. It says the 12 apostles of corruption. There you have the likes of some 12 ministers who the paper accuses them of being the 12 apostles of corruption. Away from that saga, we move over to petrol and gas sector in the country. It says how Africa needs to benefit from the EU and Russia saga. Get to read that story on that set publication for today. The Starrick newspaper of Le Populi comes back to Mystique against Lady Pons, who talks on the who is angry for Fally Ipupa headlining the Camtel ceremony that will be coming up in the month of December for this year. La Nouvelle Expression of Sovereign Chunkel says Anglophone crisis, the hypocrisy of condemnation. You can read that story on La Nouvelle Expression of Sovereign Chunkel for today. The build up to the qualifiers of the World Cup games, Choupo-Moting and Ngamelu have been sidelined for this new list that was issued by the Indomitable Lions coach Rigobert Song. We move over to Mamfe Massacre. The paper talks on how non-government organizations have their own take on that said saga on Mamfe. Let's take you now to Info Show. Info Show talks of the 41 years of Paul Biya. What has changed so far? You can find more on the pages of Info Show for today. Info Show comes back to the celebration of the new government at 41. You can get to read more on the pages of that publication. The Guardian Post for this morning's report, Focalitus Gentry offers multi-million poverty alleviation scheme to Messager Ako communities where he comes from. Moving over to CPDM Gripple's opposition in Tian. Get to read more on that said paper. And on the third page, the paper reports CPDM Senator Dr. Anja Simon of Acquire dies. You can find more on that, how he died in a Turkish hospital. We'll move over to the next publication, The Punch. The Punch for this day says off-season elections, crisis rocks peace meeting as NLC strike threatens Imo pools. In that said paper, NNPLC unveils new crude grade ships as 1.9 billion barrel. You can find more on that said paper. Nigerians lament as Canada suspend Abuja embassy operations. We'll move away from the Punch to the Punch Sports Extra. The sports paper for today says we want Mr. Ranty. And in that said paper, Andre Onana, I won't stop taking the risks. That is what Andre Onana talks on the Sport Punch Extra for this morning. We'll take you now to this other one. Anthony Joshua not interested in Gbamu fight. You can find that boxing sports story on that said publication. Le Messager for this day reports on the new government in Mayo Danai. Says anger and misery vis-a-vis. Get to read more on Le Messager for today. We'll move over to the battle of succession of Fosso Victor dynasty. It says the battle now enters into full gears. You can get to read more on the pages of that said publication. Mutation of Terry Tiaga for today says 1 month after the Bankolo landslides, the Bankolo incident, victims have been completely abandoned. That is what you can find on, or forgotten. That is what you can read on page 5 on Mutation for today. Succession in the Fosso Victor dynasty, the paper say it's quite a divisive one, as the children of the late billionaire are fighting for his properties and who to be the next successor, as is commonly in the Bamileke or Grassfield sector. Let's move away from that Fosso Victor saga to Yaoundé Business School, who matriculates 1,000 new students into that prestigious institution of higher learning. Bankolo incident by Quotidien Emergence. The paper reports on what has become of the victims of that incident of the Yaoundé 2 Council area. Wrap up this time with the story that talks of the challenges of Bonalie. You can get to read that set paper for today. Let's take a bow with Cameroon Tribune. Cameroon Tribune for today talks of the killing of Mamfe. It says the quality, the unthinkable quality. That is what Cameroon Tribune newspaper is telling us for today. That's it, Cameroon Tribune newspaper for today. 2026 World Cup qualifier song names 24 man squads. You can find that story on that said paper for today. Basketball, Cameroon clubs in limbo. With that paper of Marie Claire Nana, Cameroon Tribune, this is what we put a stop on this paper review segment of the program. Gbamu. Written of Any Mujoko. Back to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Laviet, again. And yes, it is always amazing to have the papers, know what the papers are talking about in the morning. Yes, and also if you want to find out in detail, you can follow up 9 a.m. in the morning or during our newscast at 8 p.m. to get some of the stories that are happening across the nation and what has been happening even in your local communities. And yes, Larry, this time around we are diving straight away onto our topic of discussion.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's Cultural Wednesday and we're talking about African beliefs. So in your own opinion, what do you think are some of those African beliefs that are no longer practiced?
African beliefs that are no longer practiced. Oh my God, which one do I go for?
There are so many of them.
I think the phenomenon of ghosts is no longer it's rare, and I haven't heard of ghosts quite some time now.
Ghosts, right?
Yeah, when I was a child, we hear stories, we hear screaming of persons in the night. I've just saw Mr. Gallica. And when we were growing up in Limbe, there was this Mr. Gallica. He died, and the next day his ghost was everywhere. So everybody was screaming. And as a child, that fright was quite there. But as I grew up, right now, it's rare. Even my neighborhood died. We have not heard anything like we have seen the ghost somewhere.
I used to be so scared. I used to be so scared. I think it's even now that I've entered the mortuary before. At first I felt like if I enter there, I am going to start seeing these persons when I go to bed. I used to be so scared. And talking about ghosts, you hear they'll say the person is coming to say goodbye, and the person is coming to say goodbye to the for example, if let's say he was living in this vicinity, and when he dies, you hear them before the day he's buried, you hear people say he's roaming around right now, he or she's roaming around right now, that they have come to say goodbye. The things that these people made us believe, and we're so scared.
And when I went to Manfe for holidays, my cousins and I were discussing, especially when Sonia has taken her light. So the story of ghosts will just come, and this one is narrating as well, because then Manfe it used to be very severe, and my other cousin said, please people should stop that discussion. Because he's afraid, and I love horror stories. So I was just like, Kogo, tell us more. So when Kogo, who is the younger man, he said my other cousin who is older said, if you don't stop that, I will slap you. I'm interested in the story. Tell me more ghost stories.
That means I'm that your older cousin, because that's just me. I must not partake in such conversations because Rita will not sleep. practically I grew up with sleeping with lights on because I'm really scared. Practically my dad will wait for me to go to bed, and when I go to bed he comes and turns off the light, and when I wake up at night and finds out that the lights it's dark, I start screaming. Oh, that's to tell you how scared I was, because my sisters, they also love those movies, and when the thing is, when they're watching it, I don't leave the place, so I'm watching it with them. And then the thing is, everybody goes to their own room, everybody is sleeping, and then me, I'm there. When it's my turn, I cannot close my eyes. So the issue of ghost, I think, is really one of those things that I'm not really hearing about it again, because the presence of horror movies too, and then
Harry Potter. Back then we used to. I love watching Harry Potter with Equatorial Guinea television, because Equatorial Guinea television starts before CRTV. CRTV starts by 5. Equatorial Guinea starts by 1. So during the holidays, and these people were showing it, and when I get up in the next morning, I'll tell my mom I had a terrible nightmare. So why won't you have it? We don't even understand Spanish, but we are watching.
We are watching it.
we are just seeing the action. Harry Potter was speaking in Spanish, and with the thing and the magic and everything, and we were really thrilled. And when I get up in the next morning, I say I had a terrible nightmare.
Terrible nightmare. It's just because of what you were watching. It's just like your imagination playing with you, and you feel like that's what's happening with you, but it's not the case. Thank you so much for your contribution, Larry.
Thank you for having me.
And yes, this time around we are talking something else. We are about talking something else this morning, and it is time for us. We have done workouts, and yes, but that is not enough for our sports corner this morning. This time around we take on this musical break, and when we come back we talk some things. Don't move a muscle.
Say uncle, Jaja Fresh.
welcome back. And this time around, we are shifting the cameras towards this sports melee. But talking about goals, hey, I just remembered something. My goodness. In fact, I'm going to tell you the story later. Let's now talk sports with Sonita Ngunyi. Good morning, Sonita.
Good morning, Richard Mafani, and good morning to all the televiewers of High Television this morning.
How you doing?
Superb. Today it's football day.
Okay.
Yeah. Richard Mafani, I ask you again. Are you going to go with me to Limbe to watch Iceland Home Sports Academy today?
You did not see my sports show outside there. This
no.
I'll move it and where this one is.
We are gone.
Don't bother. We did sports this morning. The viewers. We did sports. We had some workouts. So I'm going to change back. Don't bother.
Oh, wow.
Understand? Okay. In life, sometimes don't listen. Just imagine. Believe.
Okay. Thank you very much, Rita Mafani, for accepting my invitation right in front of the eyes of the televiewers who are always there to listen to us.
Yeah.
And failure to do so, what should we find you? Please say it out.
Failure to do so. Close the mic working.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not working. It's not working.
No, you have to give it a fine.
We'll discuss that.
No.
So there are some things that the authenticity and the hypertensity of the things cannot be discussed on air.
In fact, small fine, you are speaking grammar.
No, it's not really grammar.
Wow.
I didn't just know that from our fathers.
Like this.
I'm just learning from our fathers.
You are scared. You cannot say you take me out for lunch. What is lunch for you?
What is lunch? Is it lunch? You know there's lunch and there's lunch. There's bubble and granite. And there's boy granite. So which one? Is still lunch? I'll take you out for lunch. There's papa and beans.
Thank you very much, Rita Mafani, and once more, good morning to all the fervent televiewers of High Television this morning. We are going straight away to be talking on the Lionesses in terms of the under-20 category. And mind you that they will be having some friendlies in terms of competitions that will be coming up. And yes, Hassana has already made her list in terms of the Lionesses for the under-20 category. Who are those who are going to be, why not, taking part in this particular tournament against or clash or competition against Kenya so far that is coming up. And we'll go straight away to look at those who have been caught up both at the local level, especially from the Guinness Super League various clubs that is currently going on so far, and those who are also out of the country will make up to this particular list. We'll go straight away to look at this particular 24-man list of the Lionesses under 20 category, where the goalkeeping department, it is Buea Kati from a clear officer in Cameroon, Nicole Chelsea from Authentic as well, and Claxia Chantalinga from Amazon Fab. And at the defense compartment we have 10 defenders, where we find Nyamji Sky Cindy Abumba Clarice, we have in Yankara Mankana, we have in Duchie Senin Orient, we have Mangwa Maris in Simi Ewundu, while in Gassam Bele. At the midfield level is Divan Wusuntolo Victoire, Azanfa Maberis, and a host of other local players right up from the Guinness Super League competition that is happening. And we look at the reserves. We look at Stade of Remis from France, that's in Jock and Monique. And we talk about Carl Job Catherine from Cyclone Football Club, still in Cameroon. Hannah Ocean from Authentic, and Alison Mandu Lobe from Loop Team from Itambong. And to tell you that this particular list is an entourage of the local as well as the international scene, and to tell you that this is what we want to be seen in terms of lists that will be making themselves out from the various categories, be it at the national level, the under 23, the under 20, and equally the under 17 level, the under 15 categories. This is what we want to be seen, and it's going to be a booster to these local players that are actually making their ways into various clubs to be shortlisted in lists like this, and a booster, like I earlier said, to these various players, be it the male category and be it the female category. And away from this particular list here, I mind you that this game against Kenya is going to be coming up on the 11th of November 2023. And away from this, we go straight away to talk about, yes, the most anticipated list of Coach Rigobert's song that why not made waves yesterday on November 7th, all the way right from the Africa Food head office over there in Yaoundé. Well, yes, this particular list has brought in some mixed feelings in terms of those who were caught up and those who were not caught up. We'll go straight away to look at the goalposts of Coach Rigobert's songs. Well, it's Davis Epasi, Fabrice Undua, and Andrea Onana. And yes, at the defensive compartment, we have a new name to talk about, and it's Leon Bell. In terms of this particular defense compartment, where we have the normal Adalin Yonga, Christopher Wu, Nuru Tolom, and Umar Gonzalez, Junior Baptiste, and Jean-Charles Casaletto, and Jerome Gumbe Kelly makes his way to the defensive compartment. And at the midfield, it is Andre Frank Zamboangisa, Benjamin Elliott. The question lies on Benjamin Elliott. Many times we have called him, giving 2 minutes, 5 minutes of play. Is that enough for this particular player to show his worth? A question mark we are asking ourselves. Olivier Cham, Olivier Carmen, and another new name at the midfield level is Ivan Nyoyo Amene, who asks themselves, when is the last time we heard of this player play? Another question mark. We'll go straight away to the attack level. Look at Kato Kambi makes the list, and we have Fabrice Pemi, another new attacker in terms of the Lions deck. Gbamu makes his way, Clinton Jeb, Vincent Abubakar, Frank Magritte, and George Kelvin Kundu. And so far, these are the players that have been called up in terms of the two friendlies that are coming up on the 17th and the 21st of November 2021 against Maurice and Libya. And a question that lies, let's go straight away to listen to some reactions from journalists across Cameroon that have been, why not, throwing in their praises in terms of this particular list that has been released by Coach Rigobert's song yesterday, 7th of November 2023, during a press conference at the Feka Food head office.
As I think Coach Rigobert's song has a very good list at his disposal. He has made notable callings, I should say. One aspect I would like to acknowledge from his list is the fact that he's bringing in a lot of substitutes for players who have been having as permanent players for quite a long time. Now, if you can look at the position, the left back position, which has always been occupied by a player like a Low Dolo, you see that we now have someone who can be able to fit into the left back position. You can look at the right back position. Ever since Five Points was not able to be called into the Lions then. We have been trying a lot of things. The last time we had to try Jean-Charles Castelletto, it didn't work out so well. This time around, we can see other players, other natural right backs. We even have Tom Jerome Bekele who can be able to step into such a position. Well, on the other side, looking at the notable players who are not called up for this competition, or have the likes of Martin Chukwumuti. This is a player I think we need so much because he is someone who can keep the ball to his feet. In so doing, he is able to allow players to think, to be able to create spaces and open up the chances for attackers to make, to be able to have variations of passing options whenever they are played. But in all, I think it is a good mobilization by the head coach. You have to go to the compartment. It is good to be headed by Andre Onana alongside Fabrice. But I equally think that Davis Epasi shouldn't equally be called as well, because it is for the same reason that we don't have 5 points. We have 5 points in this because he doesn't have a club. We have Davis Epasi, he has a club, but he isn't active. So I don't think there's any much difference between the two of them. Another player, even a local player, should be called in. Another regret that I want to, or another point I would like to point out is the fact that we have left out a good player like Chemaloni. He has been an amazing job over there in Tanzania and his club. So I think these are the few things I've noticed with the list, but overall, like I said, it is a good list.
The list is quite complicated because I am of that opinion that it's high time we start giving local-based players the opportunity. Yes, we've gotten 3 new players in the Lions Den, but that doesn't really make me feel like those personalities that have been brought in are capable of replacing the likes of Lionel Ateba amongst other personalities who are playing in the local scene. In goal, we keep having the likes of Andre Onana, who is performing outstanding with his club and Manchester United, despite a couple of issues with the side. We have a certain Davis Epasi who's not played any game for like 4 months in Aba in Saudi Arabia, yet he's still being called up to the Lions Den. Whereas we have a couple of individuals in the local scene who could replace Davis Epasi at that point of view. In terms of the defense, I see no problem in that because Aaron Mutkundi is performing outstandingly well, and a host of others who are doing well. In terms of midfield, the likes of Zambo Anguissa is coming back to the Lions then after he had an injury that made him not to participate in the last friendly game that we had against Senegal and against Russia. The other personality I keep seeing at the Lions then who I don't really see his word is the certain Ben Elliott, who is still in the Lions Den, but he has about 5 minutes or so in the Lions Den. He cannot really show his word, but yet we keep bringing him to the Lions Den. And we only have a certain Clinton Jay, who equally hasn't really shown his word because of the number of game time he's been given. In the last game, I think he had about 5 minutes or so to show his word, which as a player you cannot really show. So all in all, the players that have been called by River Besson, 90 or 80 or so percent merit their position there because of the number of games that they've had in their club, their performances in their club. But the others I find wanting, from the goalkeeper. We'll talk about David Passy, Ben Elliott, even the certain Clinton Jay. To me, I would maybe sideline Clinton Jay. Yes, you're talking about the three personalities that have been brought in. To me, I just see it as a point of view where we want to make sure that we try and get double nationality players into the Lions, because we look at the others. The other guy has an English nationality, the other one has a German nationality. So I think we're just trying to bring in the double nationality personalities into the Lions then. So all in all, it's a mixed reaction as far as that particular lineup is concerned.
Squad up is centered on so many aspects, so many questions to ask. In notion of the absence of big names like Pierre Koundé, Malong, Martin Hongra, but of which impact is the presence of Benjamin Elliott going to serve to the team? These are premature questions Cameroonians are asking themselves. I think Song is still in the phase of a build-up from all expectations. That is what was told during the just finished press conference, in which he was able to unveil his list. I think technically at the defense line he did a very marvelous job, but the question now is centered at the midfield. Is Song's choice the choice supposed to be implemented in this team? Those are questions Cameroonians are asking themselves.
And yes, that has been the talk of the town since yesterday at 11 a.m. over there in Yaoundé, where you are having this particular mixed feelings in terms of this particular list that was released yesterday by Coach Hugo Besson. To you, what is your judgment? What is your appraisal? It's left to you. And away from Coach Hugo Besson, we now talk on today's encounter in terms of the M10 Elite 2 Championship. We should be looking at the fixtures of today. Who is going to be playing who today, Wednesday, the 8th of November 2023 at the Banjul Stadium? It is going to be Rasenga Bafusam, the fixtures of today's MTN Elite 2 Championship match day 4. It is going to be Banjul. At the Banjul Stadium is going to be Rasenga Bafusam that is going to lock horns with Yafut at exactly 3 o'clock. And at the Municipal Stadium over there in Bafang in the West Region, 3 o'clock, it's Unispa come against Egro Royal of the Mongo. While at the University Stadium in Bambele, at exactly 1 o'clock, it's Fanta Street of Bamenda that's going to clash with Rasenga Gbamu. And still at the same venue at exactly at 3 o'clock, it is Bafman United that will be welcoming Tonel Calabar Club of Yaoundé. And while Pool B is going to be seeing RS of Yaoundé against Leopard Sportive of Douala at 1 o'clock at the Omesport Stadium over there in Yaoundé. Next one, still on the same venue, is Eden Sport of the Lekki that is going to rub shoulders with Intukul FC of Banjul. While at the Limbe Centenary Stadium at 3 o'clock is Isle of Hope Sports Academy that is going to welcome Rangers of Bafut. At the Municipal Stadium in Bankate at 3 o'clock is Panther Sport of the Ovinde against Dragon of Yaoundé. And yes, to the southwest population, it is the lone MTN Elite 2 side, Isle of Hope Sports Academy, that is going to be, why not, welcoming Foncha Street of Bamenda. And mind you that Isosa is currently at the first position in terms of Pool B of these particular competitions after a beautiful start of the season and unbeaten since the national Interpol summons back in Yaoundé. It's a time, it's still another time for us to come and support our darling Southwest, our team. They call them the Royal Elephant of the Southwest region. It's another time. 3 o'clock is the time, and the venue is the Centenary Stadium. All come together. If you are in Buea, in Tiko, in Mutengene, in Limbe, the road leads to the Centenary Stadium today. 3 o'clock, it's going to be another class to talk about, as we are going to be looking at new Latline Juma that is currently in Isosa, and we are going to be looking at Joel Mbeng that is in Isosa, and not forgetting our Betiku, who so far has given just an assist, as he might be today. Your presence is going to motivate this particular young lad to give in his first goal of the season. Don't forget, it's 3 o'clock for Ice Sports of Academy. And thank you very much, Mr. Mafani. I hope you're going to join me too, like we earlier promised the televiewers, to be in Limbe today to see how football is different when you are in the field and when I am saying it here.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely see that, and even if I don't see that, I will send my spiritual eyes
Even if
to the field. I have spiritual eyes now. I have spiritual eyes, right? I'll send them to the field. Don't bother, when you're leaving, I'll put the spiritual eyes inside your back. I'll send them to the field so that the eyes now can be seen, and then they'll be communicating with me. It's like CCTV camera, but that's not what we're talking about here. A quick one, Tonita, onto our topic of discussion. What are some of those African beliefs that you think are no longer practiced, or are no longer, some of those beliefs that we don't have them nowadays? Yeah, Larry was just talking about the issue of ghosts.
we have them.
And I have my own story about ghosts too. I have my own story. White back made me jump a fence of like 2 meters because I thought it was a ghost. White back was white back standing, and then it was late in the night. I and my elder sister went to throw that, so there was this white long back standing, and then the way the head of the back was wrapped, my dear, we thought it was ghost. Come and see us running. If they told me to skip that fence on a normal day, Rita will not skip, but that day I did. I did not even know when I skipped the fence. When we got home, I came in the morning, I look at the fence that I skipped. I say, yes, fear has power.
Indeed it has. Some of those things that are no longer existing.
Yeah. So Rita is still thinking.
I'm lost.
Yeah, lost. The issue of, there are so many of them, but I think ghost is one of the most, that one, like we have been hearing about it. No, we still have it, but at least we don't have the, people are not really thinking that way.
Anyway, the aspect of killing twins, those are things that we used to do.
Yeah, I was talking about,
yes, our grandfathers used to do it because at that time they were seen as bad luck and all those things. Nowadays, instead, when you have a twin, it's a prestige.
You're celebrating
that name. Sometimes your name even fade away because of the money and the tani.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the things that has faded away in terms of but this issue of ghosts.
This one, I have stories, that's just one of it. But anyways, I think it's time for us to pack our bags out of the studio. It has been an amazing time in your company, and yes, I'm sure, I hope you enjoyed the time with us and had fun as much as we do. A big thanks to Tampo Clothing for manipulating the buttons, the exceptional broadcaster we have here at High Television, and also to our editor-in-chief, Elvis Tayon, and to our mentor, Humphrey Eno Ayo. It has been an amazing time in your company, and from Sunita and I to you, it's always bye-bye. Stay blessed.